The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. S&P 500 now up 42.41. That's going to change dramatically if you're listening to us as we record live in the morning. With about an hour and 45 minutes from now, there's big news coming out. And that'll affect the market dramatically. We'll talk about that in just a second. But let's take a look. The 10-year Treasury down 8 basis points, 3.716. Mortgage-backed securities are up just a little bit. That tells us that mortgage rates are down a little bit. But let's see what happened yesterday. And OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Conforming loans up just a tad at 6.527. That was a 30-year yesterday. Jumbos at 6.453, down a little bit. FHA was down a little bit at 6.379. USDA, the rural areas, generally no down payment. Think about that, San Bernardino, Riverside. 6.447 was up just a little bit in the best loan on the market for those that earned it. The 30-year VA loan was down a little bit at 6.212. Does not tell us about any points paid or received to get these prices. This is just the actual raw lock averaged out yesterday. But the real question becomes, why is the market doing what the market is doing? Well, as I shared with you just a couple seconds ago, 11 o'clock California time, the Federal Reserve releases its minutes from the December 14th Fed meeting. This was the meeting that the Fed slowed their rate of Fed funds rate hikes from 75 basis points to 50 basis points. That was good for mortgage-backed securities. During his press conference, Chairman Jerome Powell alluded to going slower from here, signaling maybe 25 basis points on February 1st. We're going to look and see if the Fed acknowledged inflation coming down in the minutes and what their thought process is, if there is a thought process coming out of the Federal Reserve. That's a big question.
Such an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
Such an idiot.
Don't say that about the Fed chairman, but sometimes the shoe fits. Oftentimes, the days that the Fed minutes are released have a negative bias on mortgage bonds. So we're going to be watching that very closely. Mortgage applications. Here's the misleading news of the day. Let me give it to you so that you have heard it here, and I will tell you why it's misleading news. So we're going to hear that mortgage bonds, that mortgage application data for the previous 2 weeks was down. Well, of course it was. Don't you think people had something better to do than get a mortgage during the last 2 weeks of the year? Unbelievable how, and the Mortgage Bankers Association, they don't do a real good job of, adjusting for seasonality. So purchases down 12%.
Surprise, surprise.
Refinances down 16%.
Surprise, surprise.
It just, it doesn't make sense why these people report some of these things and don't give us context. They're doing it over the second week of December, which was when rates are starting to come down from their peak, which was back, I think, around the 14th of November, give or take a little bit, which I can find it on my handy-dandy chart right here. About November 4th was about the peak of the interest rates at 7.144. So rates have been coming down. Why wouldn't people start? Remember, RSR two-step. I've told you about that before. It's just a great way to get your financial house in order. RSR two-step. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. Got to make the call, though, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990.